Hi, I'm Kirsty Wolf, and I'm an accessibility tester for eLaHub, and I'm here today to talk about links and to talk about how they can be designed in a way that's more useful for me, but also for other people, because one of the good things about designing accessible content is that if it's good for me, it's probably going to help some other people as well. So I'm using a screen reader, I'm using JAWS, and I'd like to demonstrate some of the challenges that I encounter when people have designed learning content that contains links, and also to show you some good practice as well. So most people know that the screen reader will read the information from the page, but it also has inbuilt functionality that you may not be aware of. This is particularly relevant in relation to links because it can also bring up a list of the links that are on the page. Not all screen readers use this. Some use it more than others, but it can be particularly helpful if you have a page with a lot of links, because then you can find what you're looking for more easily. However, that only works if the links have been labeled well, because the point of labeling a link is to tell you where it's going, what's going to happen when you click that link. And one of the common mistakes that I come across and that I'll show you today is when people just say find out more, because if you have a link that says find out more, unless you've read what comes before that, you don't know what you're going to find out more about. And if you have a list of links, then all that text is removed. So you just have a list of find out more, and that's a bit confusing and also a bit tedious. And to be honest, it's one of the reasons why I don't use this feature sometimes, because I know that people like to label their links find out more or go here or things like that. And that's not very helpful. But I'm going to show you now. We have a page here with some content on it. And if you just read down the page, it does make sense. So we have a piece of text here.
Designing accessible bullet web name gives a great overview of keyboard accessibility, including some common keyboard shortcuts and additional guidance. Designing accessible learning content program accessible links with link find out more opens in a new tab.
So find out more. It's good here that it says opens in a new tab. That's a good thing to do, because then we know that we're going to leave this page and have a new tab. But then the next one, you've got some more text.
If you're not sure how keyboard accessibility looks in action, W3C's accessibility overview has a useful video demonstration. Link find out more opens in a new tab.
Okay, and that's also find out more, but it's the same. So if you're reading down here, it's not such a deal breaker because you're reading the text and you know for each one it's a bit repetitive, but you know what it's in relation to. But for anyone who uses the special JAWS feature that can bring up a list of links, I'm just going to do that now. You probably won't see very much, but there's a keystroke and it will bring up all the links that are available on this page.
Find out more opens in a new tab. Find out more opens in a new tab. Find out more opens in a new tab. Find out more opens in a new.
I have no idea what that's about, but if they were labeled intuitively with labels that had something to do with what you'd be linking to, it would be easy to use this links list and to find out more about the thing that you actually wanted to know about. Okay, so this is a different page, and I would like to show you with this page how to do it in a better way. So I wouldn't say the other page was completely inaccessible, but the more links you have that say find out more, that becomes quite tedious, and it can also be quite difficult for somebody who has pulled up the links list, because they can't use the links list essentially, because unless you click on everyone to see where it goes, that's a very time-consuming way to get information. So this page here is better because we have a link. I'm just going to move JAWS focus down onto the link.
Bullet link web name keyboard accessibility overview opens in a new tab.
Okay, you know exactly what that is. We have some more information about it underneath it.
Web name overview of keyboard accessibility, including keyboard and keyboard shortcut overview.
A bit more, but the link itself tells you exactly what's going to happen when you click on that link.
Bullet link web name keyboard accessibility overview opens in a new tab.
So that's useful for me if I'm just reading the page normally. That's also useful for any other users. They don't have to be JAWS users or Access Technology users. It's everybody knows what's going to happen with that link. And similarly, when you move on to the next one,
web bullet link W3C keyboard compatibility overview opens in a new tab.
Yeah, that's different from the first one, and you know what it does. And then just for a final one,
bullet link assistive technology and switch users opens in a new tab.
So if you were looking specifically for something about Access Technology and switch users, you would know by moving the focus to this link that's what is behind this link. That's the destination. That's what you're going to find out. So that's doing it this way, but the other way is also using the links list, and I'm going to show you that now. So if we just open up the links list. So now
Assistive W3C keyboard compatibility overview opens in a new tab. 8 of 15. Assistive technology and switch users opens in a new tab. 9 of 15.
And there's another one. So you don't need to have all the text around these links to know where these links are going to take you if you decide to use the links list. And that's helpful because especially if there are a lot of links on a page, some people do that because they want to get to the information faster. I'm just going to come out of there now.
Escape.
So this shows why it's better for me, better for people who rely more on the links list, and better for everyone if you give your links a clear label and let people know where they're going to go if they click on that link. So one final thing that I'd like to talk about in relation to links is about putting the full URL in the link text, because that's really not very helpful. Sometimes people give their links good URLs, but sometimes they're really obscure. Sometimes they have the date, if it was an article, sometimes they have a lot of additional information, and that's all going to be read out by the screen reader if you put the full URL as the destination. So we have an example here. These are quite intuitive, but they're also quite long. And these are some shorter links. There are other links that are way longer, but listen how long it takes for Jules to read this.
Link HTTPS web aim. Org techniques keyboard opens in a new tab.
And another one.
Bulletin link HTTPS www.w3. Org Y perspective videos keyboard opens in a new tab.
And you're lucky because these ones, my Jules is set to not read all the additional punctuations. Sometimes people's Jules will read https://www. So all the punctuation as well, and that will take even longer than mine did, but mine was still quite tedious as it read through the whole URL, and that doesn't actually tell you where it's going. It doesn't tell you what will happen if you click on that link. So it's better to write a clear text for your link destination to know where people will be going, because otherwise they will have to listen to something like this.
Bulletin Norman Group help link HTTPS www.group.com multiples keyboard accessibility opens in a new tab.
And that takes time to do that. And the more time that somebody has to take, the longer it will take them to complete your learning. And that can also affect how engaged they are with the learning, because if you make it easy for them by not making them listen to a lot of additional information that they don't actually need or that doesn't add value, then they're more likely to be engaged with your content. Because my Jaws here is quite slow. I tend to have it faster, but some people have it at this setting, and then it takes a very long time to read through all these URLs, and it can be quite tedious because you still don't know what's going to happen when you click the link. So that's why it's good to always think about what you want people to know, what they're going to do, what they're going to access when they click each link, and to make that clear and intuitive in the text that you write for the link's destination.